All right, we're recording now. So we just finished up the HITSM tweet chat, and we have three other folks here. I'm Jimmy Vanagan, and Chuck, my co-host, is Wareflow, and we've got Stacy, Coffee Mommy on Twitter, and then we've got Joe Lavelle, Resultant, on Twitter as well. So a lot of folks are just joining us. We've got several folks on the in the section where they can't sit on the video screen quite yet, but we're going to try to get everybody on. We can. We've got Marie O'Connor from Ireland. We've got Greg and Health Guru. So Sharice is there. So we've got quite a few. So I'm going to turn it over to whoever wants to talk about.
I'm going to ask you.
Okay, go ahead, Chuck. Yes.
Before we started recording, you did an excellent job of just sort of saying in the upper left and on the right-hand side, just kind of explain some of the folks who are watching and maybe will be occupying a seat later, just kind of explain what they're seeing.
So with Blab, what you'll see four video live streaming folks right here, as you see. And if you look at the very top of the screen, there are these little circles. You can move your cursor over, and that's where you can join folks on Blab. So it's quite easy. You move your cursor, and then you can make sure that you're following them if you want to. On the left-hand portion of the screen, as you're looking at your laptop, you can actually tweet out whatever you want. You can hit the Tell a Little Bird and the interactive video streaming health IT after HITSM. Will tweet out. On the right-hand screen is what I find really fascinating and different than Google Hangouts is this interactive texting that people join, and then you can actually have folks join in from this live stream as they come in and join the conversation. So they can ask questions. You can comment however you see fit as they join in. So how's that, Chuck? Is that...
You did a great job. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Now, what were you going to do next? I'm sorry.
Whoever wants to talk, we should give Stacy the floor and then Joe the floor in terms of what they thought of the tweet chat and what they think of Blab so far. So, Stacy, if you'd like to go ahead.
Sure. No, I love the tweet chat. Always love the tweet chat. Love the idea of kind of this multimodality. Being able to see people is huge. Being able to hear people is awesome. I will tell you that when I look at this interface and thinking about putting my patient hat back on, a little bit overwhelmed. Would be maybe more applicable if I were getting together with a group of individuals and we kind of had a set agenda. Think that, I don't know. I mean, and again, I'm just kind of thinking about the platform in the context that we just had the tweet chat on. I think I'm probably leaning more towards this platform as kind of how you're using it, Jimmy and Chuck, is kind of the after party.
Yes.
Maybe one or two things comes up in a tweet chat. A few people are invested in getting together and discussing it a little bit more deeply. No, I love seeing everybody, and I think somebody made the point on the tweet chat that it was a great way to kind of build or elevate the relationship, which I think is huge. And we don't necessarily have to wait for the stars to align and for us all to show up at the same health conference. So big news there. I would love to try to figure out how, I have a lot of face-to-face support groups, a lot of face-to-face education opportunities. It would be really neat, I think, to bring people who are geographically dispersed together for kind of short conversations. My cat would like to join the video. This is awesome. Thank you and I actually think this is a little bit easier to navigate than Periscope, because I think that there's more of that interaction.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Thank you, Stacy.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Joe, your perspective.
No, great points, Stacy. All of them, especially the props to HITSM. I do a lot of podcasting, and I think Blab's going to change our world because, we record audio and we edit it, and this would be so much better, I think, format to record and get to see people's reactions and let us use our hands as we talk. So this is the first time I've actually joined in instead of lurking. So I appreciate you guys letting me get involved a little.
Oh, you bet. Glad to have you.
And what you may not realize is here's one thing that we don't get in Blab. What we don't understand is just how tall Joe really is. How tall are
Joe,
you? So?
How tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
Okay. You have a full 12 inches on me then. Just keep drinking my coffee over here. Well, this
if I get
awesome.
some new knees next year, maybe I'll be 6'4" again.
So obviously with this being beta, what's the mechanism to give feedback to Blab to say, hey, I would really like to go up here to all these little faces up top and be able to click on them and get their video feeds as well?
I'm not sure.
That's an interesting question. I don't know much. Periscope is kind of famous because they were acquired by Twitter for $100 million. There is an interesting backstory to Blab, but it involves a network called Bebo, B-E-B-O. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that. And that was acquired by some big company like Time Warner or someone for like $1 billion. And then it was acquired back by its original founders, apparently, for like $850 million.
Oh.
And so I don't want to say that Blab has gone back and forth for that amount of money, but apparently it's part of some larger, older social media empire or infrastructure. So it's interesting to consider. And one of the things that I kind of think about is, if Blab, first of all, Blab's a startup. It does not have as many. I mean, when I'm in an upstart fashion when I say that, but it's going to be interesting is if Blab, that we did this survey and it ultimately was about 2-to-1 in favor of Blab over Periscope. But of course, Periscope has the users and the money and the Twitter backing and so forth. And Periscope has been, adding features in response to Meerkat. I would not be surprised if Periscope doesn't start adding Blab-like features if Blab becomes more popular as well.
I agree.
Very
well,
cool.
What do you think? Should we get a couple of other folks on here? Is that okay?
Yeah,
I don't want to.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna step up.
Whoa.
Okay. All right. How about we get Marie?
Chuck. Completely vanished.
Can we get Marie from Ireland to join us? That would be great. Marie, can you join us if you'd like to?
Oh, your hair looks fine, Marie. It's all good.
I'm looking for my headset. Okay, excellent. And you can.
I just don't kick me off until I get to wave to Marie. And then
okay, we won't do that. So yeah, go ahead. Whoever wants to carry on the conversation, feel free to go ahead until we get Marie on here, and then we'll introduce Marie and see what she thinks. But
so it's interesting to me that we're comparing to Periscope. Periscope's more of a video taking thing, isn't it? It's like I'll video my son's baseball game so his aunt can watch and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Skype fan, but I do love Google Hangout. So I think trying to line all of the like features up together. The only complication I can see with what I was suggesting before is being able to click on people and see them is that, again, things can become overwhelming when there's too many voices and too many images. But it would be nice to I think you can have a very productive conversation with more than 4 people speaking and visualizing. So I don't know. I'm sure there's metrics on what that ideal number is, but I certainly think it's bigger than 4.
Yes. All right, Marie is joining us. Here we go. Let's see if this will work. All the way from across the pond. Hopefully
Ireland.
We'll see if we can. Oh no, we lost her. Let's try it again. Here we go. We're going to try that again. And I don't know if you can hear us, Marie.
Can you hear me?
She comes. Yay! Excellent. All right, she's on.
Hello, lovely.
Hello.
Hello. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting.
Oh wait, now I can clap for you.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. Thanks so much for saying I'm no longer a Blab virgin.
Well, now we've lost your video, but we still have you on audio, so we want to have you stay on. And so far, what do you think of the tweet chat and Blab so far? As that you've been on it for about 10 seconds.
Amazing! I love it. I keep saying I must try to get on it, and here I am. You still can't see me. I can see me in all my glory. I wonder what I need to press.
Yeah, we can't see you. Sometimes if you hop off and hop back on, that might work. So if you want to try that, go ahead, and we'll keep this seat open for you. And yeah. Now, okay, there she goes. We'll see if we can. Okay, we'll try this. And of course, I'll remind everyone this is still beta, but even in beta, I think this medium is wonderful. There you are. We can see you now, Marie.
It's dark here in Ireland.
It's middle part of the day here in Montana. Oh, I see. Yes.
This is very exciting. Yes, the tweet chat was amazing. I got a little bit lost with the whole SM. I listen more than I speak, and that's it's not what I'm particularly expert at. But I'll go back and read the transcript, and it's amazing. It's really interesting. I love that you're an early adopter, Jimmy. We're all following in your footsteps.
Well, thank you. We lost your video again, but keep talking. We can hear you loud and clear. So I'd like to have you stay on and give us your thoughts.
So, okay, just wondering though, just from a practical point of view, I wonder why the video is being lost. Do you think it's a broadband issue, a bandwidth issue, maybe?
It may be, and Chuck had mentioned that whenever he blabs with folks across the Atlantic, that sometimes the video is lost. I haven't had that much experience, so I wonder maybe it has something to do with the transmission. That I just don't know to answer your question.
There's a bar at the bottom of your video, Marie, that says poor internet signal. So whatever it is, I think it's attributing it to that.
Okay. Oh, it's saying,
Blabs across oceans, low bandwidth is what Chuck says. So Blabs across oceans, low bandwidth. So it's a bandwidth issue, it sounds like.
Okay. So that's still a beta. So this is an issue then that's going to. So it's interesting to know that, because this is going to be an issue, which we don't have with Periscope, I don't think.
I don't think so. I don't think that's been an issue with Periscope.
No. Okay. So
that will be something we'll need to. So this is something we'll need to bring up to the attention of the folks at Blab, is that hopefully they can get that corrected, because that's a definite issue for sure as we move forward.
All right. Well, look, great to talk to you. I don't feel like there's anything I can add to this, so especially as I can't be seen. So I will jump off. You can boot me off. I want to be booted off. Boot me off there.
Well, thank you for joining us, Marie. We very much appreciate it. All righty.
See you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right, hop on. Oh, Chuck's back.
Here, why don't you boot me so somebody else can have a turn?
All right, Stacy. Yeah. We thank you very much for joining us, Stacy.
Wonderful.
Wonderful to see
you. And you, okay, great.
For those folks who are listening, Jimmy and I have a kind of a trial balloon that we put up a couple weeks ago, and that is a conference using Periscope and Blab. Periscope for like the keynotes and Blabs for panels, with Twitter being kind of the backbone to keep everything organized. And I'm about to type and then tweet or post the URL to our description of how we think that might work. And we're looking for folks to basically just tweet us a proposal. And we'll put you on the agenda. We haven't fixed a date yet. Basically, if we get enough people for a couple of hours, then we'll find a date that's good for everybody. If we get all of a sudden we're inundated because of that, we can always extend it out to like 3 or 4 hours, probably on a Saturday. Run sessions in parallel, maybe a healthcare, maybe an IT, maybe a healthcare social media track. And so I'm going to post right now. And so. Jimmy, maybe you could say something about that conference while I post the URL.
You bet. And the conference, it's still a work in in progress. And the idea is that maybe we can get folks, like Chuck had mentioned, doing a combination of periscopes and interactive blab to get different ideas and exchange of ideas of different things that people are doing from all over the world. So we're very interested, and we're going to focus, of course, with probably health, IT, health issues, and we'd be very interested to hear some interesting ideas and your thoughts. And if you go to Chuck's website and he's got where you can email or direct message us if you have any ideas or thoughts, and we'd sure love to have you if that's something you'd be interested in doing. So any of you guys on the right-hand side, feel free to jump on. We'd love to have a couple of more folks jump on. I see Matthew's still on there. Janet's going to jump on. Excellent. And she could probably help us out with some questions. I didn't know if you put a Q, you can actually make the question stand out. So thank you for that, Janet. I appreciate that. And thank you for your thoughts during the tweet chat. I thought you brought up some excellent points. And what do you think? What did you think of the tweet chat versus your thoughts on Blab? Of course, you're more of a blabber than Chuck and I. You've been at it a little longer than we have, but
whoops.
Wait.
When in doubt, turn the microphone on. Okay. So, so I've been involved in the HCSM tweet chat, and that's a pretty active one that I feel comfortable in. Some of the others, not being a healthcare person, but a marketing social media person, I was a little worried about the IT because I'm like, what have I got to share? So it was interesting because it's you define a little more broadly. So I was very comfortable there. Great chat, lots of stuff happening, and everybody's very engaged, which is helpful. It's not, solo voices.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you. Yeah. Let's see. Blab so far. The situation you talked about putting a Q. So when you type the Q, where do you actually type the Q to get the question to stand out?
/ small q space, and that's all you got to do.
Oh, okay.
/ small q space. Is this a question? And
yep, there you go.
Cool, there you go.
Okay, and that stands out. Are there any other tips that make those kinds of things stand out? Questions, messages, and mentions. You can probably do all the same with those too.
Well, I had heard that on the as you look at it, your left side of your screen where it has the Twitter feed, yes. I think the host can actually potentially make it all the questions pop up, so it'll filter questions now. That's a new feature. I don't see it myself, even though I'm on, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
Joe Resulton is asking about your mic.
I think it's an ATR 2100. No, it's an Audio Technica something. It's the one that was on sale for $39.
Hey, you can't beat that.
It's very impressive looking.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I'm a podcaster, so that's part of why I have some, stuff here.
Okay.
So I have a podcast called Get Social Health. Obviously, that's the name of on my Twitter handle. And it's about social media and healthcare, but I define it so broadly. As long as you're using social media and you're in healthcare, we have got something to talk about. So it's everything from medical futurists, hackathons, startup weekends, through how you manage the Facebook page for a hospital system. So a lot of different kind of conversations. As a matter of fact, Marie asked that I reschedule slightly because we literally were having a podcast interview just before the tweet chat, and I pushed her a little earlier so we could do this. So yay!
Well, thank you. I appreciate you doing that. That was very helpful, and glad to have Marie on the tweet chat.
Am I in again?
We can see you. We can see you.
Okay,
oh no, we lost your video. We lost the video, but we can hear you.
So we're discovering that there seems to be an issue with bandwidth, or maybe it's just my bandwidth that there's an issue, but I'd be interested for you to maybe explore that with some more people that are based in Europe, so we could have a conversation. So yeah, we definitely need to just figure that out, particularly in terms of the comments as well, because it would be great to get it broader, because I'm certainly bigging it up here to my European colleagues, so it would be terrific if we could just check that. It could just be me. I live in the country.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if it is you. I wonder if it is you, Marie, because we had a guy from Scotland early, and he came in loud and clear. So Scotland would actually be a little further than Ireland. So I wonder if it might be on your end.
It could be me. I'm in the middle of nowhere in the west of Ireland at the moment, so it could just be me.
Well, are you using wireless or are you hardwired?
Hardwired.
Oh, well, then I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
See, that's why I don't want to go on the HIT.
Good question, though. Excellent question.
Into something? Did you turn it on? Also, sometimes rebooting. If Blab will sometimes freeze up, and if you just refresh your screen, that sometimes can solve some problems.
I think the really great thing about Blab, though, in relation to that, is that okay, so if you can't see me, if I can't take part of it, you can boot me out, and then somebody else can. So it's not like Google Hangouts where everything's set up. And Google Hangouts are very, very glitchy. It could be very glitchy, and I think people have pretty much. I don't know anybody else who's using Google. I don't know anybody who's using Google Hangout at the moment. I think it's gone pretty dead. So the great thing about this is you can, somebody else can jump in the seat, and so you can keep that conversation going all the time, which is terrific. So with that,
I agree.
You can boot me out now. So with that,
no.
I think Matt Loxton. Is Matt Loxton here still present?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Is Matt. I saw Matt up there before, and the two Matts.
I want to hear his plummy South African accent.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I tell you what.
I love the South African accent. Jump me out.
Well, you can jump yourself out. Marie, if you look in your top right, there's a little X there, and you can...
Okay, there's feedback coming from somewhere.
Thank you, Marie. We appreciate it.
And it may have been Marie. So Charisse, if you have not...
I'll go ahead and... Okay, I'm going to help Marie out. There we go, Marie. Thank you again. Appreciate it. I think I've tried to do that myself, and you freeze up and you can't X yourself out. So I just helped you along there, Marie. And whoever wants to join in, we've got an open seat. And Janet, we appreciate all your points and perspectives. Very good.
Oh,
very good.
Absolutely. I'm going to try and make this. Now, is this every week or once a month? How often do you do the?
We're still kind of toying with the idea.
We're talking about this, and I'll. You know what? I've got a kind of a theory, and I'm fine. We go back and forth on about whether having it at a regular time or not. I really like this relationship, which is not, it can still be kind of problematic, as you've noticed probably in the previous Blab, between tweet chats and Blab. I participate in a half dozen tweet chats, and so does Jimmy. I kind of just view Blab as like a movable feast.
Actually, I didn't mean the Blab. I meant the tweet chat. Is it regularly?
Oh yes, the tweet chat's regular.
Okay.
Yeah,
so no, I think that then the benefit of Blab is to be spontaneous or schedule at the odd time. So use the HITSM chat as your foundation, and then Blab becomes more accommodating to people who can't jump on noon on a Friday on Eastern Standard Time onto the chat. Yeah,
and the same thing with the healthcare leadership and the HIT marketing community. It depends on the topic. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be I'd love to do, some incredible regular co-hosting thing with Jimmy. And I just get the feeling, though, that this is just much more of the sort of free-form, peer-to-peer kind of thing. It'll bubble up. And basically, one or two or three people will sort of latch on. They'll say there's a particular topic and they want to talk about it, and then people will be brought to that. I know there are, especially if you troll around Blab, there are folks that are like out there reinventing NBC, CBS, or ABC and Fox News, but we'll see.
Well, I do find that a Blab could be something that is managed and scheduled. While this is very impromptu, it's very casual, and it's wonderful because a lot of relationships are made. There are a lot of podcasters talking about how they're going to use this as their platform, because as long as you're happy with not editing, and you couldn't edit because you can edit, because like 5 minutes after this is over, you'll get a link to both your video and your audio feed, and you could go in and edit it in Audacity if you wanted. However, the nature of a Blab seems to be very casual, and it's okay to go where I wouldn't like that in a traditional podcast. That said, I really like my podcast's guests, many of whom are comfortable maybe with social media to have the idea that they could be edited, and if it goes bad, that they won't be heard. So I do think that there are people who won't step into Blab simply because it's bad enough if they thought their voice was spontaneous. But if you're looking at my face too, that would freak some people out.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Blab isn't. I wouldn't schedule or manage Blab. I think it can be. I think there's a lot of sophisticated best practices. But what I like is the idea of I love the phrase "movable feast," which I think might be, I'm not sure if it's Hemingway or whatever. And I haven't even read the novel in which it occurred. But this idea of, the idea of pop-up. I mean, this is a pop-up talk show. And I'm driven by topics. I'm driven by subject. And frankly, I don't tune into the same thing every week at the same time, probably with the exception of the two Twitter chats. And so I really what I do is I look at like a dozen Twitter chats, and for a week I pick the 2 or 3 that have got content that I really care about, and then I schedule, and then I drum up people, and I try to make something happen, kind of like what happened today with the conversation about Periscope and Blab and healthcare.
Now, I think Stacy. Oh, thank you, Janet. And I think Stacy has a question. Stacy, you said Jonas from Blab is with us, and you had a question.
Well, no. I was actually asking if you guys would ask him my questions about where do we give beta feedback. But he's dropped off. So
no.
I jumped on to try to grab him.
Well, sorry about that.
No, totally fine. I really am. I think that this is fantastic, and but I think that it could use some enhancements to probably meet our specific needs since we're asking. So anyway. I don't want to take anybody. Look, there's a whole bunch of people on here.
As long as there's an open seat, stay on. As long as and if Marie wants to come back on, whoever wants to pop on, please do. So, all right, Marie, we're going to get Marie back on. Yay. Love to do that. Great. All right.
No, I just wanted to say about the feedback. Are you still getting the feedback?
A little bit, but we can understand you.
Okay. So I don't want. No, I don't want to disturb with the feedback. So I've got a lot of work to do around this.
Can you turn your volume down? Would that make a difference?
It's down very low at the moment, actually.
Oh, there.
But look, I got to get me one of those microphones that Janet has. It's pretty kick-ass. Yeah.
It may be that not feedback. It may just be that the audio is choppy. I can't really tell the difference.
All right. Okay. I'm messing it all up. Gone.
No, you're fine. You're fine, Marie. We can hear you. So if you want to stay on, that's perfectly fine, and we can understand you. So that's fine. So we'd love to have you on if you'd like to stay on. So
one of the things that I would see using this as, so just connected health is going on right now, and as kind of a precursor to that. There was the President's Cancer Panel, which Janet and Corey and I were fortunate enough to participate in last July. And the responsibility as we saw it was to kind of get as much patient-centered information around connected health and what patients would like to see specifically around cancer care. And so the way that we did that was with tweet chats, right? We leveraged the healthcare leadership chat several times to ask questions, to kind of get feedback. I think that would have been a fascinating application for us. So some of the louder voices, probably I wouldn't have opened it up like this to say, hey, anybody join, but I would have targeted people to say, hey, let's specifically get on a Blab afterwards to talk about some of these ideas. And then in addition, when we were going through the process of kind of filtering all of that data and trying to see which themes bubble up to the top and create something that was going to be relevant for presentation, I think it would have been nice for the three of us to be on and then to kind of invite people in for clarification. It's like kind of this ready-made, collaborative conference call type thing. The fact that you can record it, not necessarily that we would have published any of that, but that we could have recorded it and gone back to get that information. I think that would be cool. And then one of the things that I mentioned in the tweet chat, can you guys still hear me?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're coming. Excellent. Excellent. Very good. Very good. Uh-oh.
Oh, what happened?
I'm not sure.
It's almost like she clicked on the wrong button.
Yeah, I bet.
Okay, there we go.
Yep, we can hear you. And you're loud and clear, so we can see and hear you. Excellent. So, yeah. Oh no, we lost her.
The travails.
Nope.
Hey,
no, we didn't boot her. No, we didn't boot her. I'm not sure what happened.
Didn't boot her.
Nope.
Hey, we got 2 spots now. So Matt is still there. How about Drew? Drew, see, I'm checking out the profile here.
Yeah, anybody else want to join? Come and join us, and we'd be glad to see what your thoughts are so far of the tweet chat earlier. Sharice, you've been following along. Why don't you hop on if you're still there? Let's see. Who else? Matt. Great. All right, Matt. And Matt we've had Matt before, and excellent. Audio only, poor internet signal. Uh-oh.
That's what I get for doing it at work.
But your audio is very clear.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. So what do you think, Matt?
So the chat was great. There's, a lot of different perspectives and ideas about what's going on. So it's, it was very exciting. It was a lot of fun to follow. And I think
I was so busy sort of trying to, give everybody, because I was so pleased that they showed up, but that I couldn't concentrate on the conversation you were having about social media and privacy and so forth. I mean, could you kind of give us what some interesting insight from what you were talking about?
Yeah, it was actually kind of interesting. It was probably one of the first HITSM chats where I think I saw at least 3 or 4 questions that said, "Can a lawyer weigh in on this question?" So I think a lot of it was just going towards the privacy and the security concerns about using the different platforms and trying to get clarity about how HIPAA applies to all of it. So it's, from a lot of perspectives, it's, what type of information can you share and what type of setting and what type of permissions or authorizations or consents might you need. So it's, at least in my view, I think it's certainly, you can use the different platforms. You just have to be cognizant of how you're using them, and then be aware of what requirements might apply depending upon that situation that you're in. And if you know what's going on, then you can be able to take appropriate steps to make sure you're not doing something that you shouldn't be doing.
Well, here's a question for you, Matt. I think, particularly since Periscope was purchased by Twitter, and Twitter has a public API, and in the early days, about 3 years ago or so before, Twitter, it was extremely developer oriented. You could basically create your own Twitter clients. Then they kind of pulled back from that for a variety of reasons. Now there's more outreach. And in fact, I watched, I think it was called Twitter Flight, which was their developer conference, and Periscope was there, and it was neat stuff. But eventually there's going to be a public API. There already is an API. There are folks that are building things on top of Periscope, and eventually presumably Blab. It really, that was one of the questions was what kind of health IT system, or what kind of system, Blab-like or Periscope-like system would you build for healthcare? And of course, you're running against these APIs, and there you're starting to get into some of the business associate HIPAA-related conversations that it seems like you were having. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's any big entity like that is going to think about trying to seriously get into the healthcare space has to be cognizant of the requirements. We saw it with like Google and Microsoft and Amazon, where there was resistance at first of saying, "Oh, we're not going to sign a business associate agreement. We're not going to." Essentially, it was to some degree kind of a head in the sand type of approach, but that just doesn't work. There's such a atmosphere of enforcement that hopefully at least the covered entities, so the providers, know what's going on, and they're not going to work with or provide services through entities that aren't meeting the requirements.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But that being, so if you're piggybacking, if you've got third parties piggybacking onto another provider's service, like I think Chuck, you're suggesting with, the different Twitter or Periscope clients, if the underlying service isn't going to meet the standards, then no matter what you do with the overlying interface, it's still not going to meet the standard because the data is going through that underlying service. I've certainly seen that type of an argument used, I think with like Dropbox, for example. Sometimes people say, oh, we have a secure interface for interacting with Dropbox, but Dropbox itself, when it's hosting the data, has flat out said, we don't care about HIPAA, we're not going to deal with it. So if your data is there, that's where the problem is. It doesn't matter that that interface can make all the claims it wants, but that's one piece of the problem.
To your knowledge, are there, I'm hearing my voice from someplace.
Yep, we can hear you, Chuck.
Well, okay, I heard a little bit of an echo. It might be coming from Matt. I'm not sure if the volume was up. Anyway, both Box and Dropbox, I keep on hearing about them in the healthcare arena, particularly Box. And Box is basically kind of an enterprise version of Dropbox.
Yeah.
And they have some initiatives into the healthcare side. Are you familiar at all with any of that? As what you're we're talking about relative to Box as opposed to Dropbox?
No, Box I'm aware of, as far as I'm aware, has taken the appropriate measures to have security standards in place that are consistent with HIPAA, and they pretty much, I see a lot of marketing by them saying that they comply with HIPAA standards and that they recognize what they're in and they are doing what they need to do to be a business associate. And that's just one example of one of those services. There are multiple other ones, and I think there was a post on the High Tech Answers website within the past couple months, kind of describing some of the other data storage companies that are taking HIPAA seriously and complying with the standards.
One of the interesting things about Box, and it's just because it's basically workflow is a big W floats around in my brain. Box has I think some initiative is into verticals. So, and I don't remember what the other verticals are, whether they're pharmaceuticals or education, government, and they have. And what's different about different verticals is not just content; it's also workflow. That is the sequence of things that happen and to who those happen. And so Box actually is getting into workflow technology, workflow engines, customizable process models in a big way. And I also suspect, and I've made this case in other forums, that that these models of workflow are going to be essential for the kinds of privacy management in the cloud that we're heading toward. But I don't want to make people's eyes glaze over unless someone says, Chuck, more. I want to hear more about what we were just talking about. Okay.
Well, if
silence, crickets. See what I mean?
Crickets. No, I'm just looking to see.
I can bring a conversation to a. You should see my wife. My wife basically has said, when we're out with another couple, do not bring up workflow.
I'm told don't talk about work.
And same with me and my projected EHR, glazing of the eyes.
Sorry. Sorry. This is one of the things that Jimmy and I have in common. He's almost obsessed with his projected EHR as I am.
Yeah, I'm fixated.
We understand. We understand each other in the sense that we understand what it's like to be to have an obsession like that. And there are certain medical conditions, where people are obsessed, like the guy in New York who keeps on, hijacking the trains because he's fascinated by trains.
And Michelle, what did she? Let's see, Michelle, who was with us last Blab, she's now calling us Blabonomics, or what was that? Blabaholics, or I can't remember. She was using some kind of term whenever she was talking about you and I, Chuck.
Well,
Blabanonymous. That's what it was. Blabanonymous.
Was that her or
I thought it was Michelle.
John. Well, okay. I see new hashtags. Every new technology correlates with new hashtags. No audio love.
No,
anyway,
Stacy can't. Well, Stacy, we sorry about that. Wonderful to see your animated faces, but I'm not so good at reading. Okay, well, thanks for joining. I better tell her that in text. Okay, thank you for joining.
Okay, I'm going to look up here to see who can we pick on. I'm clicking on the 8 viewers and I'm scrolling through here.
So I'm actually going to sign off since I should go back to focusing on work now.
Thank you, Matt. Okay. We appreciate you joining and giving your perspective. And I enjoyed your perspective on the tweet chat. I was able to retweet you a couple of times and very glad to have your perspective as it relates to all this evolving technology. So thank you, Matt.
No, thanks. I'm always happy to join in. It's always fun to talk with you guys.
You bet.
See you, Matt.
Take care.
You know, I wonder what people who follow me who aren't interested, about 20% of the people who follow me are not really into health IT. I have no idea why they follow me, except probably for cat videos and things like that I occasionally tweet. And I wonder, I just RT'd almost every other tweet in that entire tweet chat. So I kind of wonder what, thank you.
Thank you, Marie. We appreciate it. And I'm not sure, I was typing, but yeah, Marie's going to go to dinner. Stacy left and got to get back to work. So Janet's taking off too. So looks like
Jimmy, you carved a hole in your schedule to do this. So
I did, and we're good. But we can take off whenever you wanted to as well, Chuck. So I'm if Joe wanted to get back on, it looks like he's the last of the three here, but he may or may not be here. I see his little icon up there, and you're happy. You know, if you wanted to hop back on, more than happy to do that. So, Chuck, what's your time frame?
My in about 13 minutes, which will be kind of the end of the hour. I'm driving up to Philadelphia to spend the weekend with my wife.
Well, why don't we just go ahead and call it a day? And I do appreciate all your time. That tweet chat was wonderful. I think one of the better ones. Lively discussion, a lot of different perspectives, but I enjoyed it. It was great.
I'm going to go to Simpler and run some statistics and see. I think that Twitter volume was higher than average. So
okay, that'll be interesting.
Thank you, Jimmy, for contributing to that. And I look forward to co-hosting our Movable Feast relative to other tweet chats of a common interest. So
excellent.
Have a good weekend, Jimmy.
You too, and have a good trip.
Okay.
Bye-bye.